I've been watching all your YouTube videos for a few years now, and
Okay.
it's really helped me. It's really helped me a lot. I worked for a few different companies in the past, and unfortunately, they didn't treat their salesmen as I would like. So I decided to open up basically my own company right around the pandemic.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt your video, but I just wanted to talk to you about how you can make $30, $40, $50,000 in the next 30 days. That's right, $30 to $40, $50,000 in the next 30 days. All you have to do is follow very certain, precise directions and strategies, and you could be making up to $50,000 in the next 30 days. Almost guaranteed. Now, how are you going to do that? You're going to join the 7-Figure Moving Academy membership group, and you're going to have access to everything that we have inside the membership group. This includes documents, this includes contracts, this includes terms and conditions, this includes credit card vouchers, waivers that you will actually be able to use to protect your business, as well as you will be able to network and communicate with some of the biggest and most profitable moving companies in Canada and the United States of America. These people are there to help you make your business bigger and better than you ever imagined. And I'm there too. You will also have immediate and 24/7 access to me via this group anytime that you have a question. All you have to do is use the group. Now, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is not, hey, you just do this, plug and play, and you can sit back on your couch and smoke a blunt or something. No, 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 no. This is you actually having to get up off of your derriere and go and do something. But by doing these very easy 1, 2, 3 steps, you could literally make an extra $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to your business income if you follow these specific strategies. I invite you to come to our membership and become a member. Now, we have annual membership and we have a monthly membership. If you take the annual membership, you'll save a lot of money. If you do the membership access, it's less than $1.50 a day. I mean, you can buy coffee from a gas station for less than that. Okay, so guys, go to 7figuremovingacademy.co/membership to find out how you can become a member of the 7-Figure Moving Academy and join the 7FMA family. Thank you, guys. Now back to your video.
We've been around since June of 2020.
Okay.
And there was a big spike, probably in all the states, right? But basically here in New York, it got very busy. So we had a successful summer, and I decided to, obviously, I saw the potential, so I kept the company. That's where we made most of our reputation throughout the summer during the pandemic. And yeah, we haven't been around for long. It's been, a year and a half now. And we started with Equate Media and Quote Runner. That was basically the first, the leads that we started with. That's how we built our reputation. Then we started getting, obviously, referrals. People started seeing us outside. And basically, not till 6 months ago, did Google started blowing up. We've never paid any ads or anything like that, but just, SEO, I guess, organically just started picking up. People started knowing who we were. And now we get roughly about a call or two a day, free, randomly, just people clicking on our site or calling us. Our main advertisement currently has been Equate Media. We used to do Quote Runner. I wasn't very happy with their leads. They were very small moves. And for New York City, where it's very competitive, considering that we're renting trucks, we weren't able to, beat anybody's prices. Not that we were trying to, but we weren't able to stay competitive because, a lot of these major companies like Piece of Cake, Dumbo Moving, they have a lot of trucks. So what happens is, since they have so many trucks, they as long as their trucks are out, and they're making some kind of money, then they're booking jobs. So I wasn't able to, keep up with those prices. Like currently, most of our prices range between about $850 to $3,000 for the bigger moves. and Dumbo Moving and Piece of Cake and all these big guys that are charging like $400 or $500 for like 2 men, 2 men, 3-hour minimums and stuff like that. So it was very hard to stay competitive, honestly. So I said, you know what? I saw some of your videos and I said, I'm not trying to be the cheapest mover either. You know, we do have a lot of good guys. We're still a very small team, but we do have a lot of good guys that have been in the industry for a long time. And if you go on Google and see our reviews, people love us. So I'm like, I'd rather, you know, stick to my price, give my company value, and you know, our guys are great. None of our guys, you know, one of those reps is guys smoke marijuana, ex-convicts, etc. None of our guys are that. So I'm like, you know what? Let's give ourselves some value. These guys been in the industry for 20 plus years. These guys know what they're doing. So basically, why am I going to try to lowball every single client and try to match these companies? So that's when we started charging a little bit more money. And, you know, not right away, which you were right in one of your videos. It didn't happen immediately, but probably about 30, 60 days, people do book anyway. We started noticing you could charge $400 or $500, you could charge $800 or $1,200, but people do book. And then they refer you to other people they know that can afford that price range or even higher. So when we started doing that, then Google started kicking in. I was, you know, I boxed, so I had an injury. I had a leg injury and I wasn't able to, you know, I had to work. Obviously, I work from home. I have a home office, but I wasn't able to help out the guys on the truck and stuff like that. So that definitely made me lose a lot of money because I was injured. I had knee problems. And when that happened, I got a little complacent. So I started seeing Google hit and I'm like, oh my God, this is a lot more than we can handle because we only have one truck. We rent one truck. We only have a crew of 4 guys. We have 3 other guys who are like basically subs, like they come in and out, but they don't really work. It's really just these 4 guys that are always working. So, you know, I'm the only one in the business. There's no one else in the office. I'm the one that picks up the calls. I'm the one that does everything. So basically when I couldn't basically walk for a few weeks, that did not help. So basically I stopped doing Equate Media for a while during that time. I just started receiving Google calls, whoever called me instead of me having to do outgoing calls, because it's very hard to do outgoing calls. Like you may be busy and you got to call that minute or like 10 other people are calling them. So when I did that, surprisingly enough, I booked more jobs just with Google alone for free for something that I wasn't paying than when I used to do Equate Media and used to pay like $10 a lead. So when I started seeing that, I said, you know what? I'm just going to stick with Google. It seems like people already know us. They're going to start calling us. And due to the fact that we're still a relatively small company, our budget is very low. We don't have a lot of money. I said, you know what? Let's see where this goes for a few months before I start putting in a lot of money towards marketing. And then I started watching your videos. And basically, this is where we are, where I saw that, you know, you have, you know, obviously the experience, you have things to say about how to scale the business. And that's basically what we want. We want to see what we can do. You know, our budget is still pretty small, but it's a little flexible. It's small, you know, it's not the biggest as I would like it to be, but it's still flexible enough where I have some questions about some of the things that I've researched. And I want to see where I should put my money, where you think is the best place for me to put my money. Because we have been getting calls as we started growing from like different leads, different people that provide leads and stuff like that, like USA home listings. I spoke to Greg Shepard as well. I've been speaking to this home, what is this one called? US home listings. The other ones, the one that you spoke to the other gentleman about, the name is escaping me right now. They used to be pay-per leads and now they are, like you could pay a flat rate and they call you, it's not Home Advisor, it's the other one. I forgot, Angie's List, now they're called Angie, right? So they have been calling us nonstop. They did catch my eye at first, and then I saw one of your videos where you were like, they're not that great. And then but I think you were referring to Angie's List. Now I think they split up, and Angie's like, they don't charge you per lead. They do basically a flat rate a month. They gave me like about 850, I think it was, and they're promising about like, you know, 250 calls a month or something like that. So I thought that was pretty good. So I thought I might give it a try, but I said, let me speak to Jay. Let me see where I can invest my money in before I pull the trigger. So that's basically where we are at.
Angie has changed, obviously, and they're going to a flat rate pricing model, which I think all in all is a better idea than paying by lead. Because most of their leads, from my experience, at least in my area, were totally crap. They were just garbage leads. They're like quote runner, just tire kickers, people who want the cheap stuff. And you can't make money being the cheapest. You just can't. I mean,
Right.
there is no marketable or strategic advantage for being the cheapest mover ever. Just isn't. You talk about piece of cake and Dumbo movers being able to go really cheap, but that's just because they got so many pieces of equipment that they're willing to knock it down very little, just enough really to pay their guys, and but they also own their own vehicles as well. My personal opinion is I'd rather pay for my leads personally, like you're getting all these Google leads, right? I'd rather spend my money where the leads are coming from than try to use a thing that may or may not have good leads. Those leads can be good if you have the equipment and you have the personnel. You told me just a few minutes ago that you rent trucks. So if you're renting trucks, buying leads, the ROI can be very, very, very slim by doing that. So until you own a truck and you have a couple trucks, I really wouldn't consider buying leads from a lead company. They can be good. There are people that do it and they have been very, very successful, but quite honestly, they're not making a lot of money either.
Right.
So when you actually question them, well, yeah, we're getting a lot of jobs. Great. How much money are you making? Well, we're making about $100,000 a year. Something's not adding up there. You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
It doesn't jive. Yeah, you're getting a lot of jobs, you're staying busy, but you're not making the money.
Right. I'm glad you mentioned that, because that actually happened to us our first year. We were doing jobs almost every day, sometimes even 2 jobs a day, but our guys were making money. I mean, it was great for building our name. That helped a lot. I mean, we got a lot of referrals out of that. And, about 50% of the people that come back, they're willing to pay whatever you ask because they know who you are now. But at the same time, the other 50%, they're like, well, last year you charged me $650. Why are you charging me $1,000 this time, right? So, I mean, it grew our name. That's how we started. Basically, Equate Media and Quote Runners is what built us. But yes, we had a lot of work. When I ran the numbers after like 6 months to a year, I'm like, yeah, I'm not making any money. I mean, the guys are making money. We're paying our taxes. We're doing this, but I'm not making any money. So one of the things that I did was I continued with Equate Media, not Quote Runner, and I found a way so that it works for us. And it did for a little while, which is they have ways for you to narrow them down from like 2 bedrooms to 3 bedrooms to 4 bedrooms. You can filter it, right? And we did that, 2 bedrooms and up. And we did see, a significant range. Like we made a lot more money, because now at the lower end, I noticed we can't compete with all these other movers because they're just lowballing everyone. But at the higher end, since I'm just one person and I don't have a high overhead, like I said, I have a home office and everything, we were able to compete, because a lot of these larger moves, we're charging like $1,800, $2,200, $2,500, and these bigger companies, they're charging over $3,000. So when I realized that, I'm like, okay, we're making our most money in 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, or homes. So when we did that, we were from Equate Media, we were doing about 4 big jobs a week. 4 of those big ones that were ranging anywhere from like $1,800 to $2,500. That's when I really started seeing money. But then Google kicked in, and then I started seeing I'm doing the same thing now, but this one's free, and the other one's still $10 per lead. And sometimes I lose money because out of 10 leads you call in a day, right, you only get 1 to 3 of them, and only 1 of them I actually book. Right. So,
right. But if you do 10 calls a day, you book 1 of them, and that job is $2,500. That's $100 that you spent for those leads. That's actually, the ROI is actually worth it at that point. My opinion is continue doing what you're doing with the Google, right? Try to increase that. Try to put some more articles on your website to get more keywords and stuff like that to bring them in. But I would probably go back to Equate Media, do what you were doing that was working, not what wasn't working, but what was working. So you're saying that when you started concentrating on the 2-bedroom apartments and bigger, that you started making more money and you started making more profit. Yes, you might spend $100 or $200 for the leads, but if you're booking one job at $2,500, that's worth it. Okay.
Right.
So to get back to what I was saying, it's kind of worth it. So you got to, thinking about that, what's the ROI, right? If I spend $100 to make 2,000, is it worth it? In my opinion, yes, it's worth it. Maybe not in yours, I don't know, but to me, that's worth it. So
right.
I would probably consider looking at Equate Media and doing what was doing that was making you the $2,000, $3,000 and stuff, right? The other thing that I would consider looking into is the postcards, and postcards were my secret weapon. And the postcards have been many other companies' secret weapon. So if you're not doing postcards, you are losing out on a lot of the premium jobs, right? What part of New York are you in?
I'm in Astoria, so that's Queens.
Queens. Okay. So in Queens, there's not a lot of high rises. There are some homes and stuff like that. Am I correct?
Correct. Yes.
So most of the high rises are on the Manhattan.
In the city. Bureau. Right. Yeah. So we we service pretty much all of New York City and upstate as well. So
okay. So that's fine. When you send out postcards, what you want to do is you want to send it out to the medium income to high medium income homes and higher, right? Anything below that, you really don't want to consider at all, because it's just going to be tire kickers and losers and drug addicts and stuff like that, meth heads, right? Just stay away from them. The guys who have the money and are willing to spend the money because they want quality, that's who you want to target. I would send postcards out to them. Now, when you send out postcards, don't just send out the typical, 4x5 or whatever, the little small ones that to me personally, I've tested that. For me, it never worked. However, when I send out the 11x8 or whatever it was, the largest postcard you can send out with a first class stamp, that's when I started getting noticed, because I tended to be the largest postcard sent out. You don't need to spend a lot of money. You don't need to have the fancy gloss covers and UVs and stuff, because once the people use your service, they're tending going to throw the postcard away. So don't spend the money on that. You might want to do it like a semi-gloss, doesn't smear, right? Right. So sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. No, one of the things that my girlfriend actually thought of, because she helps me out from time to time. We started doing it recently. We did your recommendation for Silo, and we started looking at places that are currently both in Queens and the city and other boroughs here in New York. Mm-hmm. She created this it's like for a door, it's like a door hanger. Yes. Right? And that's a postcard, and she started going, because she's a biker, she likes to bike. So she started going around and put it whenever she was around, she saw a home or she was on her way to her bike route, she would go and target different homes. We still haven't seen any return on that, but we just started circling to US home listings. I saw your video for that almost 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And it's I've been in the industry for almost 10 years. I started pretty young, and I worked for other people. I actually helped one company that started, from just like a garage. They were very small. I helped them, build their business. Right. And, once they became big, they kind of just they didn't care about me anymore. People grow bigger, and then they start replacing you for someone cheaper, or they, it's just how it is. So basically, that's when I wanted to open up my own company. So that was 3 years ago. I tried it. At first, I tried it. We weren't licensed and insured at the time. And I did US home listings for about 3 months or so. Mm-hmm. And I didn't see any return on it. I only got one person out of that 3 months. But looking back at it, I think we were relatively too young. Our logo and our website wasn't the best, if I could, criticize myself. We had less than 8 reviews on Google and Yelp. So that could be part of it. Now we have over 60 reviews on Google. We're bigger now. Our website's better. Most of the people that call us, they like the name. So the name is Let's Move and Let's Move. Let's Move. So basically everybody sees that. They see the logo. They're like, oh, Let's Move NYC. It's letsmovenyc.com. And basically they love that. They actually, a lot of people make a lot of jokes about the name, and it's very catchy. So I'm thinking I give USA Home Listings a try now, because we're a different place than we were before. And maybe when you're like selling to these high-end people, they're looking at someone with like 8 reviews and their website's not that great back then, and they're like, well, I'm not gonna go with them. Versus now, we're in a better situation. We're licensed and insured. We got more reviews. People know who we are. We're still a small company, but at least people know who we are in the city.
Right. And that's actually some very good points. People judge you based on how you look. That includes not only your look personally, like your physical appearance, but that includes your trucks, your marketing, everything. So people are judging you based on your appearance. And I wish it weren't true, but it is. So if your appearance isn't that good, they get a postcard from you. Especially high-end people, they're going to say, oh, this guy's just some random cheap-ass loser, is basically the right. So yeah, you probably did. Now is to spend the time. You've got the reviews, you've got the reputation, right? Now is the time to actually upgrade your appearance, and that means your postcards. Send the largest postcard that you can physically in the mail with a first-class stamp. Get it nicely designed. Mine was very simply designed. I had a truck and a beautiful family that was smiling on it. That was my front picture. There's no words, none. On the back is where I did this kind of the sales, and I showed pictures of my crew and stuff like that, and gave the benefits, etc., and my phone number, my website, and all that. That's where you do it. You just want somebody to look at your postcard and look at it. And if they look at it, then they're going to flip it around. They're going to start reading it, right? Also, if it's the biggest one, you're probably going to be the biggest one of everybody that sends postcards, because most people are going to send postcards. They're going to send the 6x8s or the 4x5s or whatever, the small little ones. And they'll be nicely designed, but they're going to just be ho-hum. I will just go big and do it. Doing the door hangers, brilliant idea, especially if you're putting the door hangers on houses that have for sale signs, right? If you're just putting door hangers on doors, you're right. You're not going to see a big return on that, because most people are not going to think about a mover until they need to move. Right. So just putting a door hanger on a house is like shooting buckshot. The farther away the target is, the less likely a BB is going to hit the target. And if it does hit the target, it's just going to bounce off, right? So what you want to do is start shooting some rifle rounds so you can actually hit the target. And that means going to like houses that have for sale signs. So if you see a brownstone that has a for sale sign, that's where you put the door hanger. You see a house with a for sale sign out front, put the door hanger on it. And make sure you're choosing the right neighborhoods too. Just choosing neighborhoods willy-nilly, that's also, you might as well just create a bunch of flyers, get a hot air balloon and just throw them out the air, and it's worthless, and you're spending a lot of money for something that's not going to give you a big return on investment, or ROI, right? But definitely my secret weapon was postcards. There's a lot of big multi-million-dollar companies that spend a lot of money on postcards, right? Another place you need to spend some money on is making a sales packet that looks like your postcard, that looks like your website, that looks like your logo on the trucks, right? And make a sales package of everything that you guys offer. So make a single page for local moves, make a single page for long distance moves, if you do long distance moves, a single page for packing, and some a page for do's and don'ts, and and so on forth, and that has a contract in it, has your terms and conditions in it, and go out there and present that. You could go and get folders and put these pages in folders. or what you could do, what I did is I made a spiral binder, a book, right? That was spiral bound. I made an actual book, had a cover on it, had a back cover on it, had all my stuff, and that was spiral bound, so that when I took it into the home to do my quote, I could just go like this and flip pages and show them my presentation, and I could leave that with them. That is just upgrading your image, and nobody else is doing it except for maybe a few of the van line companies, right? The van line companies, some of them are doing it, but most of the moving companies, especially the companies your size, they're not doing that, right? And I guarantee Dumbo and Piece of Cake, they're not doing that. If they are doing it, they're not doing it effectively. Because I've been in houses all over this country. I've seen the promo pieces that these companies give, and they are shoddy, right? They're just shoddy. There's been exceptions to that rule, of course, but by having that and having some sort of sales packet that you give is just something better. Another great tactic that I have learned that I wanted to do and I never really got the chance to do is doing what Big G Movers out of New Jersey did. They did a great thing. They actually give like a little care package. They have a Berenstain Bears book in it that talks about moving. They give out like little candies in it, and plus all their promo and information, right? So they give like this little care package, and they go into all these homes. Every time they do a quote, they give them a care package. Every home that has a for sale sign, they drop it off at the front door. That makes you stand out, and it upgrades your appearance, like I was talking about earlier. People remember you based on your appearance. They judge you based on your appearance. So if you're out there doing that hustle, you're going to get it. Is it going to be immediate? No. You're probably going to have to wait 30 to 60 days before you see any kind of movement on that front. Right? Now, if you want a more immediate response, Google Ads PPC campaign is going to be very, very good. Right? Take your winning advertisings, your winning marketing messages, and turn that into an ad. Like when you go on the YouTube ads and you see my YouTube ads, what do you see? Sometimes you see like a little banner at the bottom that has little pictures, or sometimes there's a video, right? But here's the thing about that, and we're going to be talking about videos here in a second, but that ad is very good because one, you can target your specific audience with the Google ads, right? By targeting certain keywords. But you don't want to target just the standard keywords like movers, moving, best movers, top movers, blah, blah, blah. You want to target keywords that indicate that somebody's looking to move into the area or out of the area, right? For instance, right, here's a good keyword that indicates somebody might be looking at moving into your area. They would be looking, what are the best schools in Astoria, right? Or what's the best schools in the Queens, borough, right? What is where's the safest parks for kids to play in? Another one would be, where's the dog parks, or where can I walk my dog at safely in name the city, right? Could be Yonkers, it could be Astoria, it could be Plainview, wherever. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think about that. What are people looking for when they're looking to buy? So if you were to go buy a house, hypothetically, in a nice neighborhood in the area, what would you be concerned about, right? What would you be looking for? You'd be looking for good schools for your kids. You'd be looking for parks to play in, activities for your kids after school. What is the best, what's the lowest crime areas in that area? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Those are the keywords you want to also be targeting. Now, those keywords are not going to produce a lot, but those people with those keywords have indicated that they are looking to move into that area. So they're looking to move. That makes it your specific target audience. Does this make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. Yes.
Good. So I would look into that. Now, to really juice this this tactic up and to really turbocharge it, you want to look into YouTube ads or Google video ads, right? Make a 3-minute ad. If you see, for instance, if you've seen any of my latest videos the last few weeks, I have a video talking about joining my membership group, right? It's 3 minutes.
Right.
Right? That's in the middle of the night. Well, you could do a 3-minute video like that and place those videos like an ad, right? You can make a minute one, 30-second one, or a 3-minute one, right? You can make various different things. Do not go over 3 minutes. Just do not do it, right? Ideally, about 2 to 2.5 minutes long is the longest you really should think about. A minute long is probably your sweet spot. So make a video talking about your moving company, show some pictures, get some out there, showing your guys in action, showing them packaging your stuff up, padding the stuff, being safe, right? And just talk, do a real quick video about that, right? You could script it very easily, and then go and place those videos, that ad on videos that are showing people the areas. Like, again, you want to target the keywords that indicate somebody wants to move in the area. Another good place to put those ads on are real estate agents that have a big following, right? So if a real estate agent has a bunch of videos and they allow ads on their videos, put your video on their video, because people are looking to buy a home from that real estate agent. You get it?
Yeah.
So then you put your ad specifically in the front of that person's video, so your ad shows up before their video plays.
Gotcha. No, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. Okay.
And here's the thing about the video ads are very, very affordable. They're very cheap because not a lot of people are utilizing them. So, and I guarantee that your competitors are not doing them. Guaranteed. Right. Without question. I don't care that you're in the New York City area. They're not doing them. So that means you could place an ad for pennies on those videos, right? Also, you want to get some. You want to place your videos on some of the influencer videos, like Casey Neistat, huge following on YouTube, millions of people. I don't know if Casey allows ads on his videos or not, but if he were to, put your videos on his videos. You see, Gary Vee, another prominent New Yorker, does he allow ads on his videos? If so, put your ad on his videos. Does this make sense?
It makes perfect sense. No, this is a lot of good stuff, man. Right. Definitely.
That I guarantee you that will supercharge. Now, the next place, and this is completely and utterly free, and you've already kind of touched upon it, but it's cold calling, right? And I know we're in winter, and I know New York can get some hellacious nor'easter storms, and you could get pounded by snow, but it's also kind of warm weather too, because you get that warm weather coming up. So you can get, you guys stay fairly temperate in that area. So on the good days, what you could do is you just go start knocking on doors. Knock on choose a neighborhood in your target demographic, right? And then in that neighborhood, you'll hit up every luxury apartment building, every house that's for sale, any self-storage centers that you might have, any real estate agents in the area, any mortgage brokers in the area, and just go and give them your ad, give them your door hanger, give them a flyer, give them a brochure, whatever it is that you have, right? Make it, again, they will judge you based on your appearance, so you want to make it something good, but you don't also have to spend a lot of money. It can be affordable, right, but still look good. Does this make sense?
Gotcha. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then you want to make a list, and you want to make a target. Like, I want to pass out 100 different flyers a week, right? And I guarantee if you do that and you stick to your target, right, you will make probably 30 to 50,000 in the next month, 30 days, virtually guaranteed. It's almost an impossibility not to make money if you do this strategy, right? Your girlfriend's out there, start paying her. Say, look, you're biking out already, bike in this area, put your bike on a bus, take it out to one of the suburbs out there in Long Island, right. And just hit that demographic, hit every house, hit every storage facility, every mortgage broker, every real estate. There's one company that I just have recently consulted with that one of the guys does their hobby home coffee brewing, right? What I told him to do is, great, that's a great idea. Go and brew several different flavors, make it funny, you know what I mean? Have 4 different brews, put it in get packaging with your logo on it, and on the back, talk about your moving services, and then go and give that coffee to every real estate agent and stuff. That's an awesome idea. I don't know if that's yours, but maybe you got something like that you could do that people like, right? Maybe you could have you and your girlfriend bake up 4 or 5 dozen cookies and put 6 cookies in a bag, get us some packaging and take it to every place and say, hey man, I'm a new mover in the area. I'm looking to get some references. If you got any, great. But if not, I just want to leave you this bag of cookies. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna get on that one because she likes to bake and stuff. So this would be perfect. You
can do cookies. You can do brownies. Christmas time is coming up, right?
Right.
And doing bags of Christmas cookies. Hey, here's some, shortbread Christmas cookies. Here's some sugar cookies or whatever. That is something that can be done all year round. That's just an idea, right? So you want to do something that's going to make you stand out. And again, people know you by your appearance. So the more you give an appearance, a positive appearance, the more that they're going to stand out, right? And if you're giving cookies, I guarantee nobody else is giving cookies. Nobody else is giving coffee. No one's giving wine. No one's, you know what I mean? No one's doing these things. And this is a very small expense that you can actually write off because it's a business expense, right?
True. So
you can go buy a bunch of cookie dough, right? Mm-hmm. And actually write it off on your taxes, right? Because it's an expense. You could go to somebody and get a bag that has your logo on it and has some marketing details on the back of the bag about your moving company, blah, blah, blah. Say this is, make sure you say this is a gift, so on and so forth. You're not selling it. That way you're not getting in trouble with, you got to have a commercial kitchen or something. If you choose to do that idea. But whatever you choose to do, that just think of something, be creative, right? Think out of the box. Think of what your competitors aren't doing. Right? You also want to do what your competitors are doing, but you want to punch up. You know what I mean? You're not going to choose a competitor that's at your level and do what they're doing because they're at your level. You know what I mean? So do not follow the advice. Do not model a company that's near or at your level. You want to choose a company that's like Dumble or Piece of Cake or Moshi's. You know what I mean? What are they doing? And then do that. Does this make sense?
Right. So thank you for that. I mean, that's very helpful. I'm definitely going to apply a lot of that stuff that you told me. That's definitely doable. Now, with U.S. home listings, I'm not sure if you've been on their site recently, but they started this, I think, about 2 weeks ago, where not only do they have, they can design your postcard and everything and send it out for you, but now they have like the retargeting, where they have ads on social media and email marketing and stuff like that. I think that's very new. I spoke with Greg Shepard about 2 weeks ago. He was explaining that to me. Mm-hmm. Have you looked at that at all?
Yes, I was actually going to mention it. It dropped out of my mind, but retargeting is something. When I was talking to you about the Google ads, you can actually, inside those ads, you could put a piece of computer software code in it. And, I would get somebody who's professional, knows what they're doing. Like Greg's company or somebody that knows about Google ads, but you can actually have what's called retargeting, right? And that is major. So if anybody clicks on your ad, goes to your website, leaves your website, then that piece of code will follow them around everywhere on the internet, wherever they go, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Angie's List, any place that has ads that pop up from Google, that ad will follow them around, right? So every time they go to YouTube to watch a YouTube video, your ad's going to pop up. Does this make sense?
Yes.
So it will follow them around. So retargeting is definitely something you should incorporate whenever you do a Google ads for PPC ads, right? Facebook ads, that's hard, but if you can capture somebody, right, then you can retarget them. But that's a little harder, right? Unless what's a good way to do it is that you can take one of your ads and send them to your Facebook page, right? Then from the Facebook page, then you could start retargeting, right? So if they like your page, click on the like button, right? Awesome. Now you could start retargeting them over and over and over from the Facebook marketing. But you're going to have to drive traffic to the Facebook. That's kind of hard to do it organically or through ads.
So basically, USA home listings. We had mentioned the retargeting. I was gonna give that a shout, not just the actual postcards, right? But also the retargeting that they have for their social media, especially because you're able to retarget and choose who you want to target for these homes, right? So I think that's a great idea. I mean, it's not cheap at all, but if the ROI is worth it, then why not? Again, I'm gonna give it a try, see how it goes for me in the next 6 months.
That's a good target time to test it out, especially during the winter time. Remember, you are in the winter, so you're gonna have less volume with it, but you should be able to go, okay, yeah, and if you're targeting the right people, which should be the premium people, like I said, the medium to medium high to exclusive homeowners, you should do quite well, right? Because if you spend hypothetically $400 a month for the postcards service, right, but you book a $5,000 job, in my opinion, that's worth it, right? I think you can book far more, but you're going to have to give it an initial ramp runway. And I found that it's about 30 to 60 days to get that machine going. So that's what I found.
Right. Now, do you have currently anyone you can recommend that does like SEO and ad management for like Google?
Yes, I would talk to Travis at Rotate Digital. He might actually be able to help you with your website and fix your website up, make it a little bit better. I don't know who you're using now, but he might have some good ideas of how to really make it a little bit better. But obviously whoever you used did a good job.
Right. It was El Ronco who actually did it. Yeah, it comes as part of
package,
as part of the service.
Okay. Well, that makes sense because one of the things, it did look like it was cookie cutter, but it was still well designed. And so I'm not really going to think, but it looked good and I like the logo.
Gotcha. Perfect. Thank you. So, all right. So I'm going to give US home listings a try. Some of the other things you said was the YouTube video. Then you got just being creative with like cookies, wine, things of that nature to like local realtors. And then I'll talk to Travis because I'm definitely looking for someone that could help me out with the ads and the SEO. And then lastly, what I wanted to ask you is, do you think it's worth giving Angie a try for that flat rate of like $850 a month?
If you've got the budget to try it, then yeah, go ahead and do it. But make sure that you're testing it. Make sure that you're tracking it for like 3 months or so. Then look at the numbers, and reevaluate it. And if it's not bringing in the ROI, if it's not bringing in the amount of business that you're looking for, dump it and get rid of it quickly.
Right. And the only thing I don't like about it is they have a year contract. So I'm not a fan of a year contract.
I
'cause
wouldn't.
if it doesn't
I
work,
wouldn't do it then. If they give you a contract for a year, I wouldn't do it. I would just be like, nope, thank you. I'll try it for like 3 months. You give me a 3 month stint, I'll try it for 3 months, but that's the most I'm going to do it. If it works after that, I'm making money, then yeah, we could do it. But I wouldn't stick into a long-term commitment that hasn't proven itself.
Gotcha. Okay. And then lastly, what I was going to ask you is, what's your opinion on flat rate? I know you have a lot of videos on that, flat rate versus hourly.
Flat rate is awesome, right? It's great. I made so much money doing flat rate, but it is an advanced strategy. It's not something you want to go into lightly, and you really have to know how to really estimate the moves down to a penny, right? So you got to really know your stuff when it comes to estimating moves, right? So you got to know when you walk into a place, if this is a 26-foot truck, if this is 8,000 pounds, if this is 7,000 pounds, so on and so forth, right?
Right.
You got to know to the detail how much money you're going to make, right? Because the money is made when you sell the service, not when you do the service, but when you sell the service. That's where your money's made, right? So if you got out there and you don't know how to estimate and you're making flubs on estimation, you're losing a lot of money, right? One of the secrets to that, going into flat rate, is you got to make sure you give yourself like a 7 to 10% buffer when you do it, just for any things that happen to come up, right? And you got to make sure that you're not gonna, if you do flat rate, you don't want to make sure you're going to get scanned by also, all of a sudden they now have this storage unit you got to pick up, right? Or they got this shed in the backyard that they didn't tell you about, etc., right? Because that one, it skews the available room that you have, because you only have so much room in a truck, right? Now, if they add in another bedroom full of stuff, you might not have enough room. Right. And now they're pissed off because so you got to really make sure in your terms and conditions that if they add anything, it's going to add to the price, may delay the moving service, and might increase the amount of the bid by an exponential amount, right? And then you got to add in that buffer just in case, because if it's some small and you could stick it on the truck, go ahead. You don't, just out of service, just out of the service factor of it, right?
Right. So I actually, Jay, I came up with, I don't think anyone else uses it, but it's been working for me great up until like 2 jobs that we did recently.
I lost you, buddy. I don't know what happened.
Companies that I worked for previously, right? The 2 companies I worked for previously, they were hourly. And they got so many bad reviews just because, hourly customers, unfortunately, are like breathing down your neck because they're paying by the hour and they're paying attention to every single thing you do. So you can't even take a break because they're on you, right? I never liked that model. So when I opened up this company, I said, let me do the flat rate. I did the same thing you suggested. I added an extra 20, sometimes even 30% more, just to compensate for the fact that it might end up taking longer. Now, our flat rate model includes everything. So disassembly, reassembly, we do pretty much everything, right? We don't nickel, we don't show them like, oh, this is how much tape we're gonna use. Everything's included. It's a guaranteed flat rate with taxes and credit card fees all in there. Of course, we charge them for that, but they only see the final number, right? Now, so far in the year and a half that we've been doing it, has worked exceptionally well up until the last 2 jobs that we did. What happened was we have a system where we don't do a list over the phone. We don't even allow them to put the inventory online, even though they could do it, but we want pictures. So we created a system where we go by pictures, because if we could see it, right, visually, what we have to do. Now, we try to get the good angle. So if a customer sends us a picture that we can't really see what's behind the sofa or next to it, we tell them we need a better picture because we can't see it. Like, you could see it, but we can't, right? So they send us pictures. People have responded very well to this. As a matter of fact, I don't think anyone else here in New York does it that way. So they've told us, oh, other people are doing a list. I like how much you guys are invested in knowing exactly what we have and how much you care. So absolutely, I'll send you the picture. So people are very responsive to it. They actually, I feel like sometimes they book with us just for the simple fact that we're more invested in finding out what they have. So it has worked for us. The pictures have been exceptionally great for us. However, you can't always know what it weighs from a picture, right? There are some things that are like the picture doesn't do justice. And that actually happened to us the other day. I estimated the job to go about 5 hours. So when it's a 5-hour job, I estimate it will go 8. That's how I charge it, right? I'm like, okay, if it's gonna be 5, let me charge 8. I also pay my guys as a flat rate. So I don't pay them hourly. So what happens is they're motivated by the fact that if they finish it in 5, they're still getting paid for 8. I'm still making money, so everybody's happy, right? Perfect. Now what happened is this job went 12 hours. So it went 4 more hours than it was supposed to. And one of the reasons why was because it rained. There was heavy rain. So we hadn't encountered a situation like this before. Like we've encountered rain, but never so heavy where the guys had to stop. So basically the first thing I thought to myself was, well, what if we start whenever there's an external circumstance like that, such as rain, snow, an elevator breakdown, what if we give them a grace period where it's like, let's say an hour at most, where we're like, okay, you know, my guys will go to lunch or they'll take a break, whatever it is. And then after that 1 hour, where if the problem persists, we kind of have to bill you for that, because even though it's a flat rate, it's technically not our fault that we're not allowed to continue the job. What do you think about that? You think that's
actually a good idea. If it's out of your control, then yes, they should be responsible for that. However, you need to make sure that that's clearly stated in your terms and conditions and on your contract when you do that. And when you talk to the customer, you got to let them know, look, we're going to give you a grace period. If it's a blizzard and we have to stop, you know, we're on the clock until that job's done. You know, I know a thing, but you know, I'm doing it for this period of time. If I got to go over that period of time and it's not due to our fault, you know, because my guys aren't doing my guys are doing a bad job or some weird thing, it's not our fault. But if it's due to conditions or God's grace or whatever, however you want to term it, then yeah, you could say there will be we will charge you by the hour at that point. Right. You don't want to give them a thing, but then charge them. But make sure that it's a fair charge too. It's not going to be like something that's going to break the bank. So one thing I like about the flat rate is I'm not restricted to 2 people on a truck, right? If it's a 2-bedroom apartment, I'm not charging them based on 2 men. I could send 4 guys, get the job done really, really fast and make a lot of money. Right. But you don't want to charge them 4 men in a truck worth of prices because you sent out more people to try to get the job quicker. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you want to make sure that, hey, okay, if we do, it's going to be at this rate, like $125 or whatever it is, or $100. You know what I mean? It's not going to be a little bit of discounted rate that you would normally charge per hour. Does this make sense?
Right. It makes perfect sense. I lost you a little there. I think my internet connection kind of.
Yeah, I lost you a little bit earlier too, myself. But basically what I say is you just want to make sure that you're going to charge them. You don't want to charge them a full hourly rate. You might want to charge them a lesser hourly rate, probably just enough to make payroll. You know what I mean? That's
what I was thinking, just to cover them, because, you know, the company made their money. I made my money. It's just to cover the guys, because this is something unexpected. We weren't counting with it. So why should we try to make money out of it?
Yeah,
just
so
enough to cover their money.
Right. So if you got 4 guys on a job, you're going to charge, let's say, $20 an hour. So it's $80 a pop, kind of thing.
Right.
You know, if we have to do it because we have to stop because of weather, we're going to charge you an extra hourly rate of $80, $60, or whatever it is, and make it, you know, just enough to make a little bit of money, but mostly just to pay them.
Right. Okay, and now I know that you're partnered with U-Haul, and I can honestly say I'm probably not going to get a truck in the next three to 6 months, if I'm being honest. Okay. So basically, we rent from U-Haul all the time.
Yep.
And that's where we have our storage and everything. We have a pretty large storage there. Now, we have an issue every month because now we're trying to start a second crew. Since we're busy with our first crew, like I said, it's 3 to 4 guys on every truck. We're slowly trying to build our second crew so we can make more money. However, U-Haul, they know us already. They see us all the time because we're there almost every day. They have a hard time renting a second truck. And the reason for that is because we rent it usually for 24 hours because sometimes last minute jobs happen and we're not going to rent it for 6-8 hours and then we have to return it back and we're charged fees and stuff. So they don't rent us 2 trucks, at least not for that particular location that we're in. Do you know if there's any way to be able to rent 2 trucks and secure them for the end of the month when we're most busiest?
Well, you're in New York, so U-Haul's probably on every street corner that you can think of. So I'm sure wherever you go, there's probably one 5 or, pretty close, like probably 5 miles away that you could go to and get another truck if you have to.
Okay.
So, I mean, if they won't rent to, and I understand why, because it's based on supply and demand. But, one thing you could do is say, hey, I understand that you won't send us another truck, but if we come in and we need another truck, make a reservation for us at the closest one to you. That way, because they'll still earn 10% commission if they make the reservation, and then you just go pick it up.
Right. What happened is we used to pick up 2 trucks there, and it used to work, but then they started seeing that they could make more money from customers that are only renting it from a couple of hours and then returning, and then they get another customer.
Right,
However,
that's their price model, yeah.
Right. So we always have 1 truck secure because we know them. They know every time we got a 20-foot truck secure, like the last 8 days of the month or whatever, when we're busiest, right? But then we want a second truck now. So I'm thinking maybe I have to go to another location, but since the same account, they might still, cancel it because they're like, this guy's got 2 trucks being picked up at 2 different locations. So,
well, if you deal with a neighborhood dealer like myself, I'm a neighborhood dealer. You can work that out. Say, hey, look, I might need to come to you for an extra truck right now. I'm renting from so-and-so, but they often run out of trucks. Maybe if you have a truck, can you rent to me and build up a relationship? And most people do that. If not, there's always Penske, there's always Budget, there's Enterprise. Worst case scenario, if it's a small move, you can always get Home Depot. They have trucks there. There's other options. Just you're a smart guy. You'll figure that out.
Yeah. They're just a little more expensive. That's all, which means the move's got to be a little more pricier.
But that's fine. Then just charge a little bit more.
Absolutely. All right, Jay. I think this has been great. I mean, it definitely won't be the last time. I'll definitely be trying to book again at some point. Right now, I'll just review everything. It's been great, and I look forward watching your new videos.
All right, sir. Thank you. Have a great day.